It's gonna take a second here.
Gonna start streaming. Gonna have some news for our friends.
All right, I
Our
think we're live.
friends. Are we
We're
live
live,
now?
pal.
Wow, what a world.
What
What a
a
world we live in.
world.
And we are the news we can't lose. News you can't lose. Let me see if I could find us and see how live we are. Because I'm starting to doubt it right now. And it's true. The news we can't lose. News you can't lose. So we're here.
We're
We're
here,
here,
pal.
pal. We're in it. We're in it. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling, the news you can't lose. And we're here talking about cherry juice falling from the ceiling. Cherry juice falling from the ceiling. That's the first main topic of
Yeah,
the day. Thank you so much, Loser Leaves Wrestling. Loser Leaves Wrestling. My name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Hammer. How you doing this morning,
I'm
Hammer?
good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about some news. There's a lot of news. Every time I think there's not going to be a lot of news, there's always a lot of news.
Sure does pile
Yeah,
up towards
sure does.
Thursday. Yeah, because I get the same way. For a while, I was just like, I was trying to scrounge and just find some new, like, especially with Moet. Like, I was nervous that I wouldn't have any topics. And then the last few days, I'd have a
Yeah.
whole bunch. And so I'd have a lot of garbage topics at the beginning.
Well, you know what I think
Dude.
happens, and it's amazing that it still works this way so many years later. But the Wrestling Observer newsletter comes out on Thursdays, and that's
Oh,
when
is
all
that
the
true?
news comes out. Dave Meltzer always has the scoops.
He's
He's
got
got
some
some
scoops.
scoops.
I don't know. I think he's a fiction writer. That's a callback from our friend Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, friend of the show, Jeff Jarrett. Thank you so much for watching, Jeff. And we're here talking about the news from August 22nd to August 28th. That's this week's news. Now, no previous week's news, no future news, no speculation and conjecture, only the rumors and hot, juicy goss. That's what we're about here. You want to start it off, or should I, big guy?
Um, yeah, why don't you start it off? I'm curious to see what your top piece of news
Well,
is.
I think I know what your top piece of news because you kind of made a reference to it before. But my top piece of news is very
Yeah,
different. It's Daniel Bryan is going to be at All Out
yeah.
potentially. Just
That's
in
that's
this
just
morning,
in. That's my number two piece of news, which is realistically the number one piece. But my
right?
first piece of news was just very funny. I just really liked it. Uh,
I'm
yeah,
sure. I'm
I
sure. But let's Daniel Bryan at All Out. Apparently, COVID-19 cases are surging, and New York City's possibly going to go into some lockdown measures. Might fuck up some of their
yeah.
shows, so they want to get him in with a live crowd as soon as possible. What
I
do you think
love
of
it.
this?
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
let's
not?
just do it. I think that'll also help. I was thinking about this earlier. I don't know if it's just because I don't know. I just feel like they're really shoving CM Punk down my throat the last week. Like there's just a lot of CM Punk stuff, and I think it also has to do with the fact that these two shows this week
Are you
were a little like not as exciting as normal AEW shows. So there isn't anything else. They're not giving me anything else to be excited about. So I think Daniel Bryan coming in will also like even out all of the like CM Punk that they're shoving down my throat.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't expect you to be a little over CM Punk week and a
I
half
just
in.
like I've been with this company. I've been watching this show since the beginning, and I'm just so invested in so many other people, and there really hasn't been a lot for me to sink my teeth into since CM Punk has debuted, and they just keep showing CM. Like the thing we didn't talk about last night was that like brief video package with CM Punk and Darby Allin.
which which was insulting for them to like make that like a feature of the show. They're like, "Oh, tune in because we're gonna have a sit
Yeah.
down with." I thought there was actually gonna be like a back and
Right.
forth, but
No,
no.
and that's the thing is that they haven't interacted with one another really, and like nothing's if Punk hasn't gotten physical, there's no animosity between the two, so it's just CM Punk saying the same thing over and over and over again about Darby Allin, where it's like, okay, like come on, let's go. So I'm excited. I think it's a good idea. I understand spacing things out and like making things special, but like Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, American Dragon, whatever you want to call him, is such a big star that nothing could like rain on his parade. It won't make it any less exciting for him. No matter when he debuts, it's going to be exciting. So why not? Let's make it all out. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I see this as a. I imagine his first feud is gonna be with Kenny
Yeah.
Omega.
Yeah.
I almost anticipate it. Could you
What
do
do
me
you
a
think? Am I
favor?
hitting the
Could
table?
you move your Could you move your camera so you're
Oh,
centered?
yeah.
Because I'm looking at the video and your face is cut off by the
That's,
ring
that's funny. Let me.
because you talk to the mic, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
I'll just
that. I
move the. I'll move
appreciate
the
that.
mic.
Yeah, move the mic. Oh, that's a better idea.
Well, I moved it too. Yeah.
Because you're always
I'm always
over
like,
here.
yeah, I'm always leaning.
It's very funny, very funny. We're doing great stuff here. Let's move on to our next big. You want to talk about your big piece of information, your big news?
I
of the
just
week?
think it's really fun and
that?
sweet that Gangrel was supposed to be on AEW this past Wednesday. I love that, and I love that he mentioned it on his podcast that I didn't know he had, and the podcast is called Fangin' and Bangin'. I think that's so funny.
Oh yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to it probably, but
No.
I think that's really nice, and I think it's really sweet that Edge called him and apologized for.
Well, let's give some context here. So Gangrel was supposed to appear on AEW Dynamite this past week, but they canceled the plans because good old party pooper Edge goes on SummerSlam with his Brood attire, Brood music, flames and everything. Doesn't do the spit take.
Doesn't do it.
Because that's a Gangrel thing. That's a Gangrel thing. But they did a blood. Did you see?
Yeah,
the
but it was
bath?
like oil.
Brood bath.
The
brood bath that was just black oil.
Whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What a nonsense. But then they canceled the plans for poor Gangrel. He still got
I was
paid,
going to
though.
reference that too. I wrote that down. That's a good move on AEW's part to still pay him.
Well,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That would be a really bad move if they didn't. That would be really bad. Hey, when you jump in here, just let us know you're here. Give us a honk. I don't mean to jump on you like that, but we want to hear what you got to say. We definitely want to hear it. Yeah, no, very interesting. I'm happy that he's still getting work. Hopefully they bring him back because I want to see him come back and do the spit take. I want to see that bloodbath. I want to see a real bloodbath.
Yeah.
I want to see a real bloodbath. I don't want to see black goop.
Nope.
I want to see black or green goop. No, thank you. Let's move on here. I got some hot topic, which I still think is more pressing than Gangrel. We got Adam Cole seems to be a free agent. It's all signs are pointing to that. He removed his WB link from Twitter. His contract apparently expired Friday. One thing's for certain, he's no longer a part of the NXT brand. He is no longer a part of the NXT brand, so it's either he's moving to... There's a secret deal and he's going to Raw or SmackDown, or he's gone and probably had an AEW. What are your predictions?
I had that in my notes, and I also wrote that Matt Hardy and a couple other people from behind the scenes of AEW all made Adam Cole references on the internet, on social media this week, which leads me to believe that he is probably going to AEW.
Interesting.
It would be interesting if he went... I did hear... I did read. I didn't hear. I don't talk to anybody about it, but I read a piece of news that Vince McMahon does really want Adam Cole, which is surprising to me. But if I'm him, I go to AEW. I'm sorry, I just go to AEW.
The thing is, and I'm not trying to body shame. I am not trying to body shame here, but Vince McMahon doesn't want little guys, and he used a different word.
Yes.
Adam Cole. His head is too big for his body. His arms are very little. His chest is very little. And I just don't imagine... I can't imagine him next to Randy Orton.
I think he would do great.
Randy Orton, literally a giant muscular snake.
Yeah. He is a giant muscular snake. That is true. With like a cop mustache right now. But it's really gross. It's really gross. I think he would do great if given the opportunity on the main roster because I think he's got a lot of personality. He can talk. He can do his thing. But they're going to turn him into a caricature of who he was or is because that's what they do with everybody.
You think he's going to do great on the main roster like, I don't know, Karrion Kross?
Are you going to talk about that? Are you going to talk about his war helmet?
Because let's skip right to it. Let's talk about it because this is a good segue. He's got a gladiator helmet, and he's got these straps across his chest. He looks like a Masters of the Universe character, a He-Man character, but not in a good way. His biggest selling point is his eyes and teeth. That's his biggest selling point. Why are you hiding it?
Yeah.
Do you like
it? I don't care. No, it's not that I don't care. It's that, do you think, does he wrestle with it? I don't know. I didn't see the match. I don't know.
No, he doesn't. He takes it off, but he still has that weird thing, and he doesn't seem to be
He wears
happy.
the thing during the match?
Yeah,
I don't like that. That I don't like.
like these like straps across his chest. They look like BDS. He looks like a Demolition.
Yeah, sure.
Guy. Looks like he's from Demolition. He literally looks like he's a Demolition.
I read about that. Somebody, I guess, reached out and asked about it. And a WWE source said everybody's got to be marketable. Everybody's got to have, like, you know, action figure accessories and things like that. How do you feel about that statement?
I like the idea that everyone has something discernible to them. I just feel like they could do a better job. But I guess, you know, I everyone in NXT kind of feels the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm not super mad. I just feel like the execution on this one was bad. You want to cover up someone's head, cover up Bronson Reed's head. You know, like, no offense to Bronson Reed, but, like, Karrion Kross's look is in his face. Mm-hmm. His face is the selling point. He's intense. He's scary. So why would you hide that? And the gladiator gimmick is interesting. I don't know what to make of it just yet, but I guess we'll have to see. I guess
he's really nothing without Charlotte. He needs Scarlett. Scarlett. He needs Scarlett. They're a duo, and I think they work really well together.
Is she still in NXT?
She's just nowhere to be found. She's not on anything from my understanding. I think they were thinking about using her separately as just her own individual act, but I think they work really well together, and she can still do that.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out. We'll find out from our sources. Yeah. Our sources at WrestlingInc.com. That's my source. Thank you so much, Wrestling Inc. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. What is your main source?
I use 411 Mania, and I also just am on Twitter all the time, reading what like Sean Ross Sapp and Meltzer and all of them have to say.
Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Twitter.
Old Twitter.
Old Twitter. Moving on, we got some big returns this week. We got Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch returning at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar returned to face off against Roman Reigns. He's got a new look.
I do too.
I
do too.
I like this look. It's pretty cool, and it's a good babyface look. He's gonna be a babyface. He stared down with Roman, and then he beat up John Cena to give the fans what they want. Give the fans what they want. And then Becky Lynch had a controversial. Well, let's talk about Brock. You interested about Brock?
I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch the pay-per-views. I have Peacock. I also like watching Saturday Night Live in The Office, so I have Peacock, you know. And I'll watch the pay-per-views. I try not to think too much about it. Let me put it that way, right? Like, when there's people who like shit on the WWE and their booking and stuff, like the main defense is don't overthink it. Just go along for the ride. I'm trying to do that now. Like, I'm not going to watch the weekly shows. I'll watch the pay-per-views and I'll hate most of it, to be honest with you, just because of, again, I want to see good wrestling. I just want to see, I want to see two people who I know are super talented have a 15-minute match and really just go at it. That just doesn't happen in the WWE anymore. So that's frustrating.
Yeah, unless you're Cesaro. Cesaro matches still happen.
Or like Roman Reigns. His matches are like 28 minutes. Too long.
Yeah. Well, speaking of interesting booking decisions, Becky Lynch comes by, makes her big return, and she beats Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. 26 seconds, I believe it was. A big surprise return. And what did you think of that night?
I thought it was terrible. And I guess I read that they did it to build sympathy for Bianca, but
I think it just
takes steam away. Yeah, it doesn't build sympathy necessarily. Like, building sympathy is like having a 10-minute like hard-fought match and then Becky cheats and wins.
Yeah, or have Becky come in, hit her with a chair. You know, at least make it seem like she was this was like a forearm, then gives her a move, and you know she's fresh. Bianca's fresh, you know, and everyone kicks out of everything these days. She couldn't kick out of 3 moves. Like, that's a little much.
I also don't think it helps that, like, did you see the segment when it happened, or like have you seen the segment?
Yeah.
So like as Becky Lynch is coming down to the ring, they're cutting to Bianca Belair, who's like smiling and like, oh, I can't believe it. Oh, and then on SmackDown after this thing happens, she's just like skipping down to the ring, doing her normal entrance, like totally unaffected by what's happened. And then you get in the ring and then you're angry about it. But like all of those things add up to like not good, not strong booking for Bianca Belair, who deserves better.
Becky Lynch is now a heel, and she gave a weird promo on Smack. She's not a strong promo.
Yeah.
She's not a strong promo, and she's definitely not a strong heel promo. People are still cheering her because they wanted to cheer. This was a dumb move to have her turn. A real dumb move because they wanted to cheer. So it's going to be an uphill battle for her to become a heel. And Bianca Belair, the thing is, like, they're so used to, like, oh, do the thing that you always do for the camera. Then you're in the ring and it's business. It's just like, you're frozen on a very funny spot in your face. We're good. I think the audience kind of enjoys this part of it, where they see us frozen and then we jump back in. Remember, Little Red's back. Baby Red. Little Baby Red is back. Roy's now back to frozen, looking very unsettled, very unhappy. But we're gonna jump back in. We're gonna feel good about this. Hopefully, they could still hear us. We're gonna find out. Sound off if you could hear us. Roy's still just so morose.
That's how I feel about all of this.
This is how Roy feels. This is how Roy feels. This look.
I'm moving again. I think it's gonna take.
Are you moving again?
I think it's gonna take a second.
There he is. Yeah. He's back in action. Excellent job. Let's move on.
I do want to say one thing about that, if I can. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley. Your 4 biggest champions in the company. All bad guys. Yeah. There's no one for me as a 13-year-old wrestling fan who wants to cheer for the good guy to cheer for. There's nobody.
Well,
Brock is now a good guy, I guess. Yeah. Was he on SmackDown? I don't know. Yeah, I think Finn Balor is next for Roman Reigns.
Finn Balor,
who I can cheer for, but who's going to get crushed in like 5 minutes because they're not going to give him a real shot. Maybe they will.
No, he's not going to get crushed in 5 minutes. They're going to have a good back and forth match, and then it's going to. They're not trying to nuke Finn Balor. They still need him for a little bit. Moving on, we got some other stuff here. WWE doesn't want indie wrestlers. No more indie wrestlers. How do you feel about that mandate, real quick?
First of all, Tony jumping into the chat here. Good to see you, Tony.
Oh, Tony, what do you have to say here? No Brock did no show. No Brock did no show.
Brock no show.
That's true. No show. That's SmackDown. I like face Brock.
Yeah.
People want to cheer him a lot of the time, especially versus this version of Roman Reigns. But what are your thoughts on the?
I think it's so silly.
Wrestlers?
I think it's so silly. I understand it to a certain extent, but I also don't get it because you're more than just an indie wrestler. Like when I heard about this, I saw an interview with Jeff Cobb. You know Jeff Cobb?
Sure.
And he did a WWE tryout, and he saw on the clipboard as he was entering their performance center that there was a list of athletes and a list of indie wrestlers. And he was on the indie wrestler list, and he was like, I went to the Olympics. I think I'm an athlete, So there's this weird stigma that's tied to it, and I don't know. I don't think it's necessary, and I will say this, and it's it's not always the best thing to say because obviously when people get fired, you're like, oh, but that's a paycheck and they have to feed their families, etc. I'm excited about it as a wrestling fan because that means that the indies are going to grow and there's going to be more and more opportunities for more and more people to get paid in other ways. Like when Jeff Jarrett buys the NWA.
He's going to do it any minute now. But you look at WWE's roster right now, and it's all AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Cesaro, these indie wrestlers that they brought on and were successful. But I guess when you look at their main people who they push to the moon, they're their homegrown talent, which is interesting. Tony's back in. SmackDown was good, but Lucha Bros vs. Jurassic Express was fire. Tony. All right. I don't know. We talked about this last night on the live show. You weren't there, Tony. You missed out on a hot show. I wasn't personally the biggest fan, but it was better than what SmackDown was. The SmackDown actually wasn't a terrible show. I watched it as well yesterday. But either way, we got more stuff here. Also, the new NXT logo. New NXT logo, and
I think it's okay.
I think it's better than their dumb-looking yellow thing.
Yeah, no, their dumb-looking yellow thing is what Triple H it's like Triple H's version of heavy metal. He's like, yeah, that looks like metal. I love it.
It is. It is. It's gross. Kitty NXT. What are you trying? Tony's trying to make fun of it. It's Kitty NXT. It does look like a
Yeah, it
tie-dye
does.
T-shirt.
It does.
And did you hear the new theme music by
No,
Wale?
they're doing that too, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I heard it. He
Okay.
posted about it. Or
I think it was Wale too.
I hope.
Yeah, I think it was.
And one more NXT brand thing. They want to move Walter over to the NXT brand, which I think is a good idea. Dude, what do you think of Walter losing the
fantastic.
title?
That is
so
great. Fantastic match. Really, really great.
Great
Really
match. Surprising. Surprising. And his chest was beat up. What's his name?
Ilya Dragunov. Yeah.
Ilya Dragunov.
Thought that was a great
good.
match. Yeah,
great
really
match.
good. Really fantastic.
Very good stuff. We got some CM Punk news. I know you're tired of hearing about him. We got CM Punk sets Pro Wrestling Tees record. Most shirts sold in 24 hours, and most shirts design the best-selling design in the Pro Wrestling Tees history.
I didn't know that one. That's crazy. Yeah. I believe it.
That's pretty intense. Yeah, and Rampage Rampage and Dynamite had big bumps in viewership.
Yeah.
Rampage obviously doubled in viewership, and I think Dynamite had the third best it's ever had.
Yep. And I also saw that CM Punk bought everyone at Pro Wrestling Tees pizza because it was so crazy. So he got everybody pizza.
I want to work at Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
Tees.
so do I. So do I. What a job.
What a job. Tony's got Dragunov is legit. He could be top face. 100%.
Yeah, he could be.
He is really good. Even though I find him a little annoying. A little bit annoying. Like, he's just a little bit much. Like, a little bit much. I wish he would just tone it back like a scotch. But he is very good. Great baby face. A lot of fire. Like, you believe him when he's fighting.
I love his facials.
He's giving everything. His facials are great. Great. It's just his facials before he gets to the ring. That's annoying. He's got a dumb face. Moving on. I got some
tied to what you were mentioning, the ratings bump.
Oh, give it to me.
I guess AEW on Wednesday had a couple of positive COVID tests. And there was also a pregnancy. 2.0.
A surprise pregnancy.
2.0. One of their wives gave birth, so they weren't on the show. They were supposed to be on the show. They weren't on the show. And they said, I don't know who had the positive COVID tests, but Tony Khan had mentioned that he knew that there was going to be a big bump because of CM Punk's debut, and he wanted the quality of matches to be stronger. But because of these COVID tests and the people missing, they had to kind of do some other stuff, which hurt the quality of the matches, which he was said to be disappointed with. Which is funny because I feel like every time AEW does something that's kind of like, what? Why are you doing that? They're like, yeah, we didn't want to do that, but this is happening. So like Hangman, it was supposed to be Hangman at All Out, but he had to go be with his wife who was giving birth. So like, oh, okay, that's why you're doing that. And like Wednesday, again, was a fine show. But I was like, you're coming off the CM Punk thing. You should have like some blowaway matches, some really exciting matches. And they didn't really do that. Oh, okay, well, it's because people were missing, etc. So.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you're trying to say that AEW is filled with excuses. And I couldn't agree more. They just have a lot of excuses. I agree. A lot of excuses. Moving on. Bray Wyatt. You ever heard of him? Bray Wyatt? So apparently he's either heading to AEW or Impact. People want to say that he's heading to AEW because he's in a similar situation that Malachi was in, where like it's practically a done deal, but they have to wait till his contract no compete clause expires. But Impact is apparently making big heavy plays to try and get him. What are your thoughts on this?
I think he would be awesome in Impact. I think he should go to Impact. I love Impact. I don't watch it weekly, but I'll buy the pay-per-views. I will legitimately buy their pay-per-views from time to time.
I'll watch it weekly if Bray's on there. Makes it a little more interesting.
And I think he would be great. Let him do whatever he wants to do. I think that's great. And I think there's some talk, I don't know if you have this on your list, I'm sure you do, of Braun Strowman also going to Impact as well.
Oh, I did
and
not
Buddy Murphy, too.
And Buddy Murphy.
So you get those three guys in there, that's a good show. That's a good time. It's not like blow away amazing, but it's definitely really intriguing, and it's something that I would want to watch.
100%. 100%. Definitely would. Tony's got some thoughts here. Impact needs to get out of that tiny building they film in.
100%. Absolutely.
100%. That is, it's honestly the biggest issue with me is the way they shoot. It's just very annoying to me. I find a lot of things annoying, apparently. And but Dragunov's face and
Wrestling Dad.
Wrestling Dad. But yeah, so. Yeah, they have to get out of there. Have they started touring yet?
Not yet.
Touring, right?
There's a rumor that so Bound for Glory is their big show every October, and there's a rumor that that's going to be in Vegas, and then they're also going to do TV tapings in Vegas right after Bound for Glory. So,
and everything's open.
Yeah,
in Vegas.
There's no rules out there, so.
No rules in Vegas.
Hopefully, that's where they start going. Because I remember watching some of their shows a few years ago. They were in like Hammerstein Ballroom and it was fun. It was lively. It was a good time. So I hope they get that soon again. And I think Bray Wyatt would be awesome in Impact. And I think he would be more important and a bigger score for Impact than AEW.
Yeah, he would get drowned out.
Yeah.
He'd just get drowned out.
No pun intended.
Too many people over there.
Well, no pun intended, as in like go make the biggest impact you can. No pun intended about Impact Wrestling.
Go make that impact on Impact. Yeah. Very good. No, I think the pun's good. Any other? I got one more. I got two more pieces of news. Do you have any?
I think I have like 2 or 3 pieces of news. Yeah.
Yeah, give it a minute.
I have that Fox.
Wait, hold on, real quick, Tony. Bray with a good Su Young story. Who's Su Young?
Yeah, that's a good point. Su Young. She's the undead. I think she's undead bride. She's kind of like a zombie kind of character.
The Abaddon of Impact.
But she's been doing it for a long time. She's good. That's a good story. Tie them together. Why not?
She could be Abigail.
She would be a very good Abigail.
Hell yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy. I know who she is, and she's much better than Abaddon. But you were saying.
I think this is like the tale of current WWE, that Fox was apparently very unhappy that they didn't offer a contract to CM Punk. So that's why the WWE felt pressure to bring back Lesnar and Becky Lynch and immediately put them on SmackDown to appease Fox. But then NBC was apparently unhappy that both of them are now there. So Edge might be going over to Raw to appease NBC potentially. But sucks to suck. I mean, that's a tough scenario, but like when all of your money comes from these two companies, you kind of got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. This is why, what is it called? Two wives isn't a good idea. What is the term? It's not the bigamy?
Polygamy.
No, polygamy.
Polyamory?
Yeah, polygamy. No, polyamory is love. Yes. That's different, and that's appropriate. But marrying two people, not a good idea. Not a good idea, because then there's going to be like, oh, why did you get her those flowers? Oh, why did you get him that watch and flowers? Yeah. You got him flowers too? So there's a lot of those type of questions. I heard that too, and it's expected. When you have two major companies that you're working for and they're kind of vying for it, and I'm surprised that WWE didn't make any offer for CM Punk. Cry on the $1 billion. Boo-hoo. You're damn right, Tony. Stick him to a Tony. That's right. Let's go. Let's go.
Trash.
Trash. They're trash. They are trash.
Yeah.
We don't like them. We don't like Vince McMahon.
No.
Right?
No, I don't like.
I like him as a character.
Yeah. Great heel,
and also as like a study in human sociology.
I don't know. That's a different conversation to have. We could do a whole podcast on the complexity of Vince McMahon and how he's not a good person, but also like
not a good person.
A lot of people owe a lot to him, but also he's responsible for, people dying. The whole thing.
Yeah, whole thing. We'll talk about it on a separate podcast. I'll give you another little tidbit. The Iconics.
Oh, yeah.
The Iconics have reemerged, and they are now the inspiration. And I need them on AEW. They need to be on AEW. If there's anyone, they need to build their women's division with people that could actually talk and who are already stars.
Characters.
Ruby Soho, get the inspiration in there, have them run.
Get Mercedes Martinez too.
And Mercedes Martinez, of course. They have to stop getting these dumb guys and start getting some of these good girls.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They need to start working on diversity.
Diversity. Very good. Very good word. That's the word of the day. Ah! Diversity. What other news you got?
I have AEW Dark is going to start being shot in a studio from now on, separate from the live shows. Have you seen this?
Yeah,
This is really
no.
exciting. I'm really, really excited about this for a few reasons. One, I'm excited because it looks like it's going to be shot at Universal Studios in Orlando. That's like pretty exciting. It reminds me, as like a WCW fan back in the day when I was a little kid, I would turn on WCW Worldwide on Sundays at like 10 o'clock on UPN, and it was shot from like Universal Studios. And it's a big general what for AEW is that their shows don't look any different. Everything looks the same because it's all shot on the same day. Well, this is going to make AEW Dark look completely different, and I'm very, very for that. I'll watch it. I will watch it because it's going to be like that. That's exciting, and I forgot my other reason as to why it was so exciting, but that's really exciting for me.
Rampage needs to change their look. They're on a different goddamn day, for Christ's
I noticed
sakes.
that they've done little things the last couple of weeks. Like last night, the ramp was red. I don't know why, but it was. Cool. But nobody really noticed it. Like, there's just different things that they can do. And also, the other thing I was excited about, and the reason for this being exciting to me, is that I've gone to a couple of live Dynamites, and the most recent one I went to was 5 hours. That's too long. That's too long.
Too much. We can't do that to the
Cut
people.
out one show.
Can't do it to the people. It's not WrestleMania. Yeah. It's not WrestleMania. And WrestleMania shouldn't be that bad either. What other? You have any other? Pieces?
I got like a quick piece of news. 2 quick pieces of news here. One is Moxley is going to be fighting Kojima at All Out, which we didn't discuss on Wednesday. They're going to fight each other, and that's fine. But apparently this is going to be the start of a bigger storyline with Moxley at NJPW. So like Kojima's first, and then more people will come in, and then eventually, he'll fight like a main big star. That's what I hear. That's what they had mentioned, I think, on Wrestling Observer Live. And then for those of you who are not familiar with Kojima was the first ever MLW champion in like 2002 or 2003 when MLW first started, and he loves bread. He loves bread. I guess bread isn't like a central part of a Japanese diet. So when he comes to America, he's like, "Give me the bread. I want all the bread." He loves bread.
That's pretty funny.
When the Bullet Club started, he was like, "They may be Bullet Club, but come join the Bread Club with Kojima," which I love.
Very cute. Very cute. Well, hopefully he brings that to AEW. We need more of that. We need more of these inside jokes. They love their inside jokes at AEW. And I got one other piece of news. AEW All Out is going to be in movie theaters, which I'm excited about just because I want to be able to see AEW All Out without having to buy a pay-per-view. But why would I do that? Why would I go to a fucking movie theater? What fucking nonsense
I think
is that?
that sounds fun.
It does sound fun. Actually, it does sound like fun. I wish there were bars that were doing glass screens.
Yeah.
I used to go to Hooters for WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah. That seems like a very classic, like mid to late 2000s move. Like that was probably so fun.
Huge move. We got Jimmy Okada, NJPW, not friggin' Kojima.
We're working our way to Okada. We're getting to Okada. We got to start with Kojima, and we're going to build our way up to the top star at NJPW, Okada.
We're going to get there. We're going to get to Okada. What? Do you have another tidbit?
I have this. I think it's really silly, and I want to talk about it. So Mystico of CMLL has been released, or he quit, or got fired, or one or the other. Now, Red, are you familiar with the tale of Mystico? Oh, get ready for it. It's a good one. So Mystico, there's 2 Mysticos, Mystico 1 and Mystico 2. Mystico 1 left CMLL many years ago to sign with the WWE and become Sin Cara. And he's the first Sin Cara. Now, Sin Cara, the first original Sin Cara, didn't work out in the WWE and got fired. So he was back he was back in Mexico, and he was like, "Great, I get to be Mystico again." And CMLL was like, "No, we have someone else who's Mystico now." So he's like, "Well, I guess I'll be Caristico." So he's Caristico, and now Mystico 2 got fired.
So Mystico 1's back?
Mystico 1 is now Mystico again, and Caristico is dead.
Oh wow, Christico's dead. Long live Mystico
Long live Mystico
1.
1. Mystico 2 is brothers with Dragon Lee and Roosh of Ring of Honor, so I'm sure he'll be heading in that direction. He'll be wrestling in Ring of Honor soon. And now the original Sin Cara, aka Mystico, gets to be the original Mystico again.
Isn't that exciting? Tony, let us know what you think of that. Let us know what you think of this Mystico story. Let us know how you feel about this new old Mystico is now new Mystico
Yeah.
again. What a beautiful world. Did the masks
The
change at
masks
all?
did change. There was a segment where Mystico 1 had on his Caristico mask, and he came out and he took off the Caristico mask and had the Mystico mask underneath.
I'm sure in Mexican wrestling that was just like,
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
fuck. That'd
And
be
I
pretty
guess
cool. That'd be
Caristico
cool.
and Mystico 2 were tag team champions, but no more. So now Mystico is on his
Okay.
own.
Can Mystico 2 become Sin Cara 2?
The
Only if the go back.
Well, there's a
What?
second Sin Cara too.
Yeah, there's a second Sin Cara. So no, he can't be Sin Cara 2. He'd be Sin
I
Cara
think
3
he actually
now.
got fired too. I think second Sin Cara also might have
Oh
gotten
yeah, he's
fired.
gone.
Yeah.
All Sin Caras are
Yeah.
gone. Sin Cara's gone. Now Mystico 2's gone. Mystico 1 is back. But wouldn't it be Mystico? Like I wish he was a different. I wish it was
It would
Mystico
be
3.
original
Uh,
Mystico. OG
I
Mystico.
think we'd had a little glitch. Music on you is very funny. Can you hear me? Oh, we're back. This is very funny. We're Tiny Red again. Tiny Red, Frozen Roy. Oh boy! But one of what we got through a real heck of a show. We really did a lot of work, a lot of big stuff here. I'm still talking. Tiny Red is still talking. Roy, actually, this is a better face for you though, Roy. This is a better look. This Frozen look. I'm liking a lot more than the last one where you looked so disinterested. Very disinterested, Roy. But thank you all. Let's close out the show. Um, right? Oh, I hear you. Oh, I hear you. They can't. They can't hear you. Thank. Don't say that. Say that. We never call attention to it. Never. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Loser Leaves Wrestling. This is the news you can't lose. Poor Roy. Roy, tell me what you'd
Oh,
like
I'm
the people
back.
to hear.
I'm back. I
Oh,
will
you're
be in a
back in?
second.
Okay, excellent. Oh, excellent. Because we're
Back
back
in.
in. Let's have a
Yeah.
good farewell.
Yeah. Spend this week watching Bret Hart matches. Take a second to watch a Bret Hart match. He deserves it. He's a good worker, and a
Yeah.
Sean Waltman match. Watch a Sean Waltman
Okay.
match too. I'm gonna post.
Watch a Bret Hart versus
It's an
1, 2, 3
excellent
kid
match,
match.
from Raw in 1994. I'm gonna post on our Twitter one of my favorite Sean Waltman matches. That's on YouTube.
You hear that? Fresh content. Go follow us on Twitter, Loser Leaves Wrestling on Twitter, and make sure to follow us on all the things, all the platforms, Instagram and TikTok and all those things. But my name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Hammer. Do you like
I'll
Roy
take it.
Hammer?
I'll take whatever you got.
Okay. I'm gonna keep doing it then. Thank you all so much. Loser Leaves Wrestling. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tony.
Tony.
He's gonna.